Michael, congratulations. By the way, I'm going to tell you, I just started watching Narcos. It just started.
Narcos Mexico season 2?
Oh my, no.
Season 2?
Season 1. I'm just starting. Blowing my mind. But we're here for Fantasy Island. You play Rorik. Talk to me about Rorik's motivation in the film.
So it's funny enough that you speak about Narcos Mexico. Like the way that I came up with the characters, because I went to Mexico City, and there's a lot of theater actors that really, like, when they even speak English, it's a very proper. And even when they speak Spanish, it's very, very proper, and almost like, they used to speak in the 50s here in America. And their vocabulary actually was better than mine. So I thought, wow, that's really interesting. So I kind of carried that onto Mr. Rorik. There was a semblance of it on the TV show. Right. Yeah. So, but when I went to Mexico City, there was like, it was in Roma, and in Condesa, these areas where it's like kind of hipsterish, but they all speak. Yeah, it's like they speak of these like. It's kind of like a lot of art students and speaking the abstract and trying to materialize it and trying to intellectualize it to understand it. And I thought, wow, this is super interesting. So I took some of that, that I learned when I was doing Narcos Mexico, and also I did a press tour with Diego Luna. Right. I don't know if you
don't spoil anything for me yet.
No. But if you've interviewed him before.
No.
Yeah, but he's like, he really loves to explore ideas. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting and really kind of cool.
Talking about exploring ideas, I know Fantasy Island used to be an old show back in the 80s, I believe, and it lends itself so well to being a horror film. What jumped out at you about that idea about Fantasy Island being horror?
Well, that was a no-brainer, because there was a bit of an element that they didn't go all the way through on that you kind of wish they did in the TV show. Sure. Like, there was a person that wanted to be like the richest person in the world or something like that, or the most beautiful person in the world. Like, what would it really, like, what's the reality of it? Like, what would happen? Like, there's people all over the world that get kidnapped that are like the most beautiful and the richest, and held for ransom for, both times. If you had the most friends in the world, then you would have the most enemies, So it kind of lends itself, like the basic idea lends itself to this kind of movie.
I know. It actually lends itself like perfectly for it.
Yeah,
actually.
Exactly.
Now, if we could do something fun real quick, is it possible that you can explain Fantasy Island's plot as Luis from Ant-Man? Is that even...
No. Not unless there was like the talented writers from Marvel. Sure. Spending a year on it, you know what I mean? That's when I would be able to do it.
Now, a lot of film directors always credit Blumhouse with so much creative freedom. Can you talk to me about, as an actor, how much freedom you may have with the process of what you're doing?
It depends. It really depends on the kind of the energy of the piece. Like if you're going for jokes, I regardless of what it is, like I always rehearse, and then I try to write alternate lines, that better convey the idea. Like I really want to know the idea of what the writers are trying to convey to the audience. Gotcha. If is it self-exploratory, like self-exploration, which is something completely different. It's mainly behavior. Is it a joke, which is like serving towards the element of surprise? Like you never really quite know. Which is like Luis, right. The element of surprise was huge, like especially like some of the words that are coming out of his mouth, that was really interesting and it was fun too. And it was also tough to remember, memorize, just like the dialogue in this movie. Right. Because he was so specific.
Uh-oh.
We did do a horror movie, buddy.
We did do a horror movie. Man, thank you for your time. This was that was creepy, but this was amazing.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.